Hello, horrible people. Welcome to Death by Podcast, episode 46. I am your host, Adam. That's your other host,
Kevin.
And today, first of all, thank you for joining us, especially today. Today we did episode 46, Mother's Day, 1980s Mother's Day, which is a Troma production movie.
Technically,
it's loose. I learned that, but it is under their
they own it
library.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we did that, and we're gonna get into that. Before we get into that, I know Kevin has some stuff. I have some stuff we want to mention. First off, if I may, Kevin, I want to give a shout out to, I don't know what his name was exactly. I think it's Adrian, maybe Julian, maybe something that doesn't sound like any of that, from Trader Joe's, who handed me, I was checking out, this was like 2 weeks ago, and I got one of these oranges that looks like an orange, but it's also like got this weird top to it, and it's really like gravelly and chunky looking weird orange thing. And I had never had one before, and I was buying it, and as I was checking out, he goes, "Oh, these are great. Have you ever had one?" I was like, "No, it's my first." He's like, "Take it. It's yours." I was like, "Oh, that's really cool, man. Thanks." And I gave him some of our stickers, and I said, "Thanks for the orange thing. I'll give you a shout out on the show if you listen. So here's your shout out, Julian. Thank you from Trader Joe's. Thank you for the orange. That was the best. And honestly, it was the best orange I've ever had. I don't know what kind of orange it was, but it's really good. I'll take a picture of them next time and post it on the.
It's not a particular kind of orange or anything.
It's called like a Julian orange or something like that. It's got a weird name, and real thick skin, but really like just a good orange. And I've been buying them since, and no problems there.
All right.
Yeah. What else? You got something? What do you want to say?
Nothing. We got a bunch of news. Yeah, we got a bunch of news. No, nothing really on the Rob Zombie thing. He's going on tour. Not on tour, but I think it's a festival. Or it might be a tour. But yeah, he's going on tour with Static X and another
Static
band.
X? What is that? Static X?
They're a band. They're a band from like the.
Isn't it also a comic? Static X?
No, that's X Statics.
Oh, okay.
Duh.
Static X.
That's what that comic was. So when Mike Allred,
yeah,
he did X Force.
Yeah.
And then they wanted to have the X Force title back so they could do something else with it. They let him continue a series and they called it X Statics. It is the Freaks on Parade.
Dickheads.
And it's Static X, Mudvayne, Rob Zombie, and Power Man 5000. Man,
jeez.
15-year-old Kevin would have been flipping out about that show. I would have been first in line to buy a ticket.
Wow, yeah, that's man. Bonkers. I feel like I know all those bands. I feel like Static X, I do know who they are back in the day as well. Do you find it weird that like these bands kind of, they like that lineup was probably a lineup in the 90s, the exact lineup, and like
kind of, yeah, I mean,
it hasn't changed. Like those guys are kind of like living in this bubble, which they can do.
Well, it makes sense. I mean, like, yeah, like I think all those, I don't know if Mudvayne was, but I know all the rest, they were on the Family Values tour. Family Values was was a tour that was like tailor-made for me when I was a kid. It was like Korn headlined it. Limp Bizkit was on there. I want to say Rob Zombie was on the first year.
Disturbed? Was Disturbed in there?
Disturbed eventually was. It was funny. I was into Disturbed way before they blew up. They were handing out demos at the mall.
Really?
Like, yeah, they're from Naperville, I think. They're from
Shut up, really?
Yeah. I don't know if it's Naperville. They're definitely from around here.
That's the Chicagoland area for those listening.
Yeah. But
boy.
What's the band?
Yeah. What's the band that was like man, they had a song, real popular band around that time too. Same genre as like, I cannot save you.
Oh, that's
what is that? It was soundtrack too for a movie.
Oh,
you're gonna say it, and I'm gonna be like, oh yeah.
No, it's damn it, I know it's
like the God damn it,
I know that it's
You know the
That's gonna
song.
drive me crazy. Yeah, I
Yeah.
know
All
the
right.
song, and I know
It'll
the
pop in your
band.
head. You gotta let it go. You gotta let it go. It'll pop in your head. It'll go.
That's gonna drive me nuts now.
Yeah. This is a cool song. I forget what movie it was on. What
It was
soundtrack it was on.
it was in a lot of movies.
Yeah, was it? I want to say it
Yeah.
was like was it a Twilight? No, it wasn't Twilight. I got Twilight in my brain, man. I listened to
The
all of the Weekly Planet Caravan of Garbages about Twilight.
oh man.
Jesus Christ.
No, it's way before those.
Yeah,
I mean, unless they put like 90s music in there.
maybe. I don't know. Anyway, you got news? What do you got? It'll you got to talk about something else.
It's like collective, it's like soul collective, it's something like that.
Soul Asylum?
Anyway.
No.
It's anyway.
You're thinking of
It's gonna pop in the middle of the episode. I'm gonna
yeah,
flip
fine.
out and
When it does,
sorry.
I want to know. No Rob
yeah,
Zombie, no t-shirts, nothing.
No, well, he did put out a new T-shirt. It's a picture of. It's actually a pretty cool picture of Sherry Zombie limited edition they're selling. But yeah, not a whole lot of Rob Zombie news. Just posting that. Lots of other horror movie news.
Yeah, lay it on me. What do you got?
One big one was it would have been better last week.
This is the big one, folks.
2 weeks. Well, it was it got announced the day after we recorded. They announced Scream 6.
Yeah,
it's coming out.
It's
coming out next year. And Courtney Cox is already signed.
Really?
Yeah. Same.
I thought she died. She didn't die?
No, she didn't die. She got shot.
Okay. Oh yeah, that's right. She was like, "We're badasses. Let's go!" Bam! Right in her stomach.
So yeah, they're doing Scream 6. Let's see.
You can't do Scream without Dewey, man.
What do you think they're gonna call it?
Six.
Oh yeah, because I don't care anymore. Like I don't care. Like
it'll be called Six Scream, I guarantee.
You think it's Six Scream?
Yeah. Yeah.
Even though they didn't even do the tempting thing. I love that everyone still calls it Five Scream, even though they didn't do that.
Yeah, he did. Somebody did it. Doesn't matter who
somebody
did it. They did it.
I mean,
it was official. Five Scream. Six Scream. Be good. I think they should just own it and do it. What else you got?
Sorry, these notes are mixed in with my notes from Tales from the Crypt.
Oh my gosh!
But
Jesus, get it together, man.
I know. Next bit of news is People Magazine released photos of Nicolas Cage as Dracula. So he's playing. You know about the Renfield movie?
Oh yeah. Who's playing? Yeah. Nicolas Cage is playing Dracula.
Yeah,
that's interesting to me.
Well, yeah, it is, and the photos look cool, but they're clearly filtered, like they're color filtered, which is weird to me because they're not set photos. They're not photos from the movie. They're him hanging out around the set, and I think these might be leaked, and then I don't know what happened, but they obviously did up these pictures, like with color filters, and I just sent it to you.
Okay.
And it looks promising if this is what it's going to look like in the movie, but this looks like they ran through a fucking Instagram filter.
So it's called Renfield. Is Nicolas Cage the lead? Who's playing Renfield?
No, I forget. I should look that up, but I know I think it might be. That's something else. I was going to say it was Daniel Radcliffe, but it's not.
All right. So I'm looking at the picture. Yeah, obviously behind the scenes, whatever, who knows what color he's actually going to be. But now that I'm looking at these, Nicolas Cage might play a good Bela Lugosi.
Nicholas Hoult was playing Renfield.
Oh yeah, that's right. Okay.
Beast.
Yeah, Beast. Fuck that guy.
I think this is a comedy.
Yeah, I'm sure it is.
Yeah, it's got Awkwafina in it. It's got Ben Schwartz in it. Yeah, this is a comedy.
Don't you see Bela Lugosi in this picture?
I mean, I see what they're going for, which makes sense.
I think he would be good. He's got like those pouty cheeks, like the
he definitely looks like Bela Lugosi. Yeah, I mean that's what you do if you're making a comedy. You're not going to do an original take on Dracula. You're going to be silly,
I guess. But
but you're going to be dressed as
Lugosi Dracula. I think they could do. Didn't Martin Landau play Bela Lugosi in something?
In Ed Wood.
Ed Wood, right?
Yeah,
that'd be cool. I'd like to see a straight remake of Dracula, the Lugosi one, but have Nicolas Cage as Lugosi, like Nicolas Cage playing Lugosi in this movie, kind of like what they did with, was it Nosferatu?
For
with Willem Dafoe. What was it called?
Shadow of the Vampire.
Shadow of the Vampire, something like
Yeah,
that.
that would be cool. And that's
Yeah.
the thing. Like, yeah, they haven't really done I mean, but since the 70s, like Christopher Lee did the whole cape and all that shit. But
Yeah,
like
his Hammer movies are awesome.
Since the Hammer movies, like they haven't really. I mean, I guess the Gary Oldman one, but even that's like,
It's more gothic.
yeah, it's a take.
Yeah.
They haven't
Which is great.
done. Yeah, it's good, but like since then it's been takes,
Yeah.
like, oh, let's do our version of Dracula.
It's been vampires. It hasn't really been Dracula. It's like,
yeah,
and they focus a lot more on the creature aspect of it. I'd like to see like the aristocratic side that Lugosi,
yeah.
came
And when
out.
when they do Dracula, it's like, I don't know, it's like cool and like, like, I don't know, like, I mean, he should be cool, but like Dracula 2000
Like he's in a
was
metal
like kind
band,
of it was lame. Or like Dracula Untold
or
didn't
like
do it
he's in a
for
metal
me.
band, and they wake him up.
Yeah, like
because
he's
they're
always
playing
like
metal.
he's shirtless and cool and like,
Yeah, fuck off.
I'm
What's that guy's name?
sexy. Yeah, like
What's that?
which one?
The guy from Queen of the Damned. What's his name? Leather Jones.
Stuart Townsend.
Stuart Townsend. Man, I'll never get over that.
Almost Aragorn, man.
Cool.
You know what was cool? I dug though that they did, and I don't like the way they did it. But I dug that in Blade 3, the villain was Dracula.
Yeah, I guess on a story level, but that movie.
Oh yeah, Dracula
Did it
sucked
all.
in that movie.
Yeah, it sucked. It was weird.
It was the guy from Prison Break, right?
Yeah.
And it was just, yeah, he's just shirtless and cool. Like I want, like, like, yeah, if you're gonna, I mean, if you make 3 vampire movies, you gotta have Dracula.
Well, dude, I don't know if you know, like Blade's origin. He first appeared in Tomb of Dracula.
Yeah,
number
he's
10.
tied to Dracula. Yeah,
And so like he's tied to Dracula, which that would have been. I really, I mean, it would be a stretch to introduce Dracula into the Marvel universe, but they're bringing Blade in.
Why? We got Jared Leto's Morbius. You don't need Dracula. We already have the coolest vampire around.
Well, Spider-Man established that that's an entirely different universe. Remember when they show Venom at the end?
Yeah,
He leaves some Venom behind and then he disappears. So fuck that universe. It's gone. It's doing its own thing. Get out of here.
Did you see that Morbius billboard that like everyone's making fun of?
No. Is it great? What is it?
It's bad. It's
Is it him with like a giant dick in his mouth? Or something?
no, it's like a stupid billboard. It's I wish it's
Instead of
like
sucking a
it's
neck,
like a
he's
regular
sucking a dick.
billboard. It's like a regular billboard
I
of
hate
like, oh,
Jared
Jared
Leto.
Leto's face and all the credits and whatever. But
Yeah.
it's like vampire, like Morbius version,
Yeah.
like ripping through it.
Uh-huh.
And it's like, I don't know, it's the first time I think anybody's gotten a real shot of what it looks like.
Yeah.
It looks bad.
You're talking about what, the makeup, you mean?
Yeah, like what he looks like when he's.
Well, if you watch
I
the
guess
trailer, he's all makeup.
yeah, but like this looks. Listen to this too.
I'm actually the only reason I really hate Jared Leto is because you hate him. But
really,
but Morbius is, if you look at the original design of Morbius in the comics, he doesn't look like your traditional. He's got the pale skin and the whatever, but his nose is like turned up like an actual bat. And that always rubbed me the wrong way, even though it's probably pretty accurate.
I mean,
it's
a cool look.
It's kind of where they're going with this. And I'm looking forward to this movie because of it. Like I haven't watched the 2 Venom movies.
He sucks.
I won't watch those movies, but I'll watch this.
He's annoyed the shit out of me since my so-called life.
Yeah.
Like that's how long this guy's been irritating me.
Yeah.
And then have you seen the House of Gucci thing?
No, I'm not going to watch that. Well, Adam Driver's in it. Maybe
I'll tell you, it's worth watching just for. It's not bad. It's a compelling movie. And you got a lot of good actors going around doing the good actor thing.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of like betrayal and intrigue and like all this shit. But you got Jared Leto in a fat suit doing straight Super Mario Brothers.
You mean like Luigi? Like
yeah, like that's
really?
the Italian accent he's going with, man.
Like,
yeah.
Hey, where is my
oh yeah, it's insane.
Oh,
in a fat suit, and it's like,
wow,
dude. Yeah,
that's intense.
I don't know how you tricked everybody.
Yeah, I don't like movies about real stuff, so I don't watch those kinds of things. I need the sci-fi, or I don't know what I need. I just don't do that. All right, you got any more? You got any more news?
Yeah.
What? Yeah, do it.
This one's neat. I
Yeah.
think so.
Is it fun?
Yeah.
That's cool.
So both you and I were not video game guys.
No, true.
Really. I play a lot of Punch Out.
Okay.
Um,
You talking about Nintendo?
yeah.
Mike Tyson.
I played Mike Tyson's and I play Super Punch Out.
Good for you. Those are good.
I've got an emulator. Yeah, they're good games. But I don't really go past N64 was the last system I played.
Right on.
But every once in a while, a game will come around, and like the Batman games a couple of years ago. I mean, probably 15 years ago now. I played those, played them all the way through. They're very fun. The Ghostbusters game a couple of years ago.
Sure.
I played, beat, very fun. All my friends who play video games make fun of me because it takes me like 7-8 months to beat these, and they beat them in 2 days. You know,
what's the point then if you beat it? Like, yeah, take your time with it. Get out of here.
Yeah. So do you remember when I told you about the Friday the 13th game back in the day, and like the format of that game, like that it's a multiplayer game, and one player plays Jason, and then the other 5 or 6 players play campers.
Sweet.
Well, the trailer came out. There's no Ghostbusters game like that. So it's and it looks very cool. Winston, Ernie Hudson is in the trailer.
Nice.
He's running the firehouse.
All right.
So running the business.
Yeah.
Takes place at it seems and there's a new team. Seems like you can make your own guy.
Okay.
Ray's also in the game. Ray's bookstore is in the trailer. It's a very cool trailer.
Yeah. Is it like it's not real people? It's like a animated or like
it looks like a
CGI.
Video game, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it looks like, yeah. But it's but they provide the voices, they do all that stuff. And it looks like you can play as a Ghostbuster and bust ghosts, or you can play as a ghost and
bust busters
and try and get out. Yeah, like you can whatever. And it's just, they drop you in levels, and it's I don't think there's a campaign or anything or single player mode. I don't know, there might be, but that
sounds cool.
They put it sounds very cool, and it's my kind of game. It's kind of that I can pick up, play for a little while, put it down, and not think about.
Right.
So
do you think that this was the goal with how they set up the last movie? At the end of the spoilers for Ghostbusters 3, if you haven't seen it, at the end, they pretty much set up Winston, because Winston has become financially successful, and they set up Winston as sort of the Samuel L. Jackson of the Ghostbusters universe. Do you think it was all in an effort for this game, or this game is just part of what is spinning out of that?
I think they knew, like, okay, well, this is where we're taking it, so let's do the game around it. Because that's the Ghost Core logo comes up.
Okay.
Which is also in the new one.
The Ghost Core? What is it? What is that logo?
Ghost Core was originally what it was.
Okay, I know what you're talking
about. It was the bone they threw Ivan Reitman.
Right.
They're like, you can run Ghost Core, where it's going to be, you're going to essentially be the Kevin Feige of our shared Ghostbusters universe.
Right.
Yeah. And it was just like, hey, and because he had the rights he had to pass up. It's a bunch of bullshit.
Right.
It's basically one of the things they threw him to fuck him over, to get him to not be involved with Ghostbusters 2016.
Right.
But anyway, now it's a thing. And I don't know. It seems like that's the company that's in charge of the shared, whatever it is.
You think that's gone to his son?
No, I doubt it. I'm sure it's just someone at Sony running it, and it's not even like, I think it's just like who knows? I don't know what it is.
I'm fine with it all. I think that as long as they maintain some amount of the original building blocks, I guess, whether that be Winston or Egon's ghost is like all in this stuff. I don't know, whatever they end up doing, I'm down with that. As long as they don't try to change it. 2016 was a lesson, and I think they learned it, as far as like, don't change it, bring women, bring minorities, whatever you want to do. That's not the problem. It's just don't change it from the foundation, because that's Ghostbusters. I made the point last week, I think, about Star Wars. It's like, you don't reboot Star Wars, you continue it, because otherwise it just turns into the next sci-fi bullshit. So Ghostbusters would be the same way. I feel it's one of those franchises that's lasted decades and generations, And when you try to like reboot it and put your own spin on it, it's not the same thing. Call it something else. Call it Ghost Chasers or Ghost Dickheads.
I don't think I'd have any problem with the chick Ghostbuster movie if it would have been yeah. Don't.
Well, let's not go into that again.
Yeah. Yeah, we can cut all this actually,
especially with this week. But yeah, I'm excited for it. I think that, I mean, whatever they come out with, I won't be playing the game, but because I'm not a gamer, but that I'll definitely watch the trailer and follow it, see where it goes. That's cool.
Yeah, man,
man, do it. Get it.
I mean, it could be cool. It could be fun.
Yeah, that's cool. You got any other news?
No, that's it.
All right. Last night I watched Dave Grohl's episode of Hot Ones, the chicken wing thing. You seen that one?
Yeah, it was a few weeks ago.
Yeah, I'm late. I'm catching up on it. But so you saw he talked about maybe that's where you got the original.
I had heard about the horror movie before that, but he did talk about it. Yeah,
that was the first time I had seen like visuals of it, and they still haven't said whether it's going to be like a full length feature movie.
I think
or with a theatrical release, but it looks fun. Like it looks. It looks like Tenacious D in the
exactly. It looks like a comedy. Whatever it's called. You know, it's brightly lit. I'll bet Tenacious. I wouldn't be surprised if Tenacious D was in it.
They'll be in it.
I hope so.
They'll have cameos galore, dude. But it was cool to see him talk about it. He was really excited about it. Dave Grohl's cool dude. Fun episode. If you watch that show, or man, now all I want to do is eat chicken wings. What the fuck? And that's one of the worst foods to get delivered because they always come in soggy. You know, unless you have a
pizzazz. I'm going to be making chicken wings on it after this episode because I ordered them.
Yeah.
I ordered them before.
From where?
I ordered those at a BLT bar around the corner. And I got that, and I got those in a BLT, ate the BLT.
Yeah.
And those are waiting for me.
So will the pizzazz make them crispy?
Yeah.
Will the pizzazz make them a crispy? Yeah.
He sounds just like Jared Leto.
Is that what he sounds like? All right. That's what I was going for. All right, man. Let's do this. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Take a deep breath. All right. There it is. I burped instead of taking a deep breath. All right. So Mother's Day, 1980. Troma.
Yeah.
What initial reaction? How much did you love it?
I tell you what, the beginning, the first 5-10 minutes, I was like, hell yeah. Oh, I love this.
You talking about like the self-help meeting or something? Oh, or which leads to
I really love the first like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And then it was just
madness.
Yeah. It was, I don't know how to put it, man.
So for people who just go Google Troma and look at their library of movies, I'm sure you've heard of some of them. Not all of them. I'm looking at one I didn't know existed right now. It's called Clown Camp Massacre, and the clown and camp are with K's, which I want to check that out. I don't know what's going on, but I really like Toxic Avenger. I think it's
so do I. I love Toxic Avenger. I love Troma.
I've never seen the sequels. It's a hilarious movie. Class of Nukem High is a really fun,
great movie.
You know, like 86 goobly movie. It's awesome. You know, some of the other titles in there, I haven't seen a lot of them. I think
Romeo and Juliet's very good.
Yeah.
Sergeant Kabuki Man is very good. Like,
okay.
Yeah, they're always going for it. You know,
they do. That's Kaufman though. That's Lloyd Kaufman. So Lloyd Kaufman put together this production company back in the probably late 70s, and he's bananas, but he's also one of the sweetest people I've ever met in real life.
He's fucking awesome.
He's a really cool dude, which is strange to know that this kind of content, it's all about naked women, slime, weirdness.
Oh wait, you're talking about
Troma in general.
Regular Troma?
Troma.
He's like Mel Brooks, but with like sleaze and like.
But it's all in good fun. And
yeah, I don't know how to put it. Yeah,
I saw him interviewed, and he was talking about how he was talking. They were talking about how he takes care of the people who work for him,
mm-hmm.
and you know, like where he watches out for his crew and his cast and all this stuff. It's just strange when you see the content and juxtapose the guy.
But it totally worked. Yeah,
Yeah.
because like you meet him and he doesn't. Yeah, he's a very sweet guy and he's very friendly, but he's also like he really does. He walks a line that like it's got to be hard to walk because he'll say like
Sure.
fucked up things, but with like such a charm to it that you don't even realize
Yeah.
like how fucking weird that is.
He's
But,
always
like,
got naked chicks around him and or half naked chicks.
I tell you, man,
like,
this guy, he goes to, I mean, you were just saying he goes to all the shows and he doesn't have a booth. I mean, he has a booth, like there's a Troma booth where they
Right.
sell the movies, but it's not like there's not a line to meet this guy. There's not, you don't have to pay anything ever
right.
to take a picture with him or talk to him as long as you want, man. And he's fucking cool.
I actually did stand in a small line, but it was C2E2 right when the pandemic was starting.
Yeah.
And it was the first time I had ever met him. And I just wanted to shake his hand, got up through the line. He's got like these two Amazon women next to him that are just like these beautiful chicks that were like twice as tall as him. He's a short dude. And I went to shake his hand. He's like, he crosses his arms and he's like, sorry, man. My wife told me do not shake anybody's hands. And this was because the pandemic was starting. So, smart move. I get it. So we did like a virtual high five and shit like that. Chatted for a second. And then the whole time I'm like, this dude, like
was that the first time you'd met him?
Yeah, that was the first time.
Oh man, I always if Troma's at a show, I always make it a point to go over and talk to him and get a picture with him.
Yeah, I will.
And he does it every. I've probably six or seven pictures on my phone. I mean,
oh man, I just realized that. I'll post those. Send me yours. I'll post mine too. I'll put them on the Patreon.
Yeah, he's cool. And when he's not there, I've been to shows where he's not there. And he might be taking a piss. He might have been, whatever. But I'm always thinking, where's Lloyd? And they're like, oh, he's whatever. He's
taking a piss.
But I mean, he doesn't have to do that. He owns the company.
Right.
You know what I mean? And he's Stan Leeing it.
Yeah.
When he doesn't have to, like, you know what I mean? Right. Like, and I mean, Lloyd Kaufman in just he's worth talking about all day. But Troma kicks ass. This movie, however, is not a Troma movie. I mean, it technically is.
Yeah.
Because his brother made this movie, and his brother asked him because he already had Troma going at this point, and his brother asked him to like get involved with it, and he said he said no.
Really?
Yeah, his brother. I should have looked up. Does his brother write this? I know his brother directed it. Yeah, he said no, I'm not doing it. And then when
was it because of the content?
I don't know. I should have watched the commentary on this. I couldn't get the DVD fast enough. I actually wanted to watch another commentary track from another podcast I listened to from a guy that works for Troma. By the way, Zach Amigos Midnight Spook Show. It's a really good podcast. But anyway, he did this movie a few weeks ago, and I should have listened to that. Yeah, so he asked his brother to get involved, and Lloyd said no. Good call. Yeah. And that's the thing, man. When I wonder if it was because of the content.
It would make sense to me because so for people who, if you're planning on watching this because of our great recommendation, it's not fun. There's no fun in this movie. I should have stuck with my gut last week and gone with the fucking Monster Squad and had fun with this with the movie. I had seen this before and I didn't hate it, but when you're sitting there with a critical eye, it's really easy to not enjoy.
Well, and I thought going in like I said, the opening 10 minutes I loved because I thought the performances were all really good, especially the mom. I have her name here, Beatrice Pons.
Yeah.
I thought she was really good. I thought I thought the two actors in the beginning were really good.
So you're talking about the initial, when they grab the two hippies,
the cold open,
the
before the credits,
right.
I like the switcheroo. It looks like these two evil hippies are going to murder this old lady, and then and then they wind up getting
at that moment at that point in the movie. I'm thinking these two hippies kill him, be done with it. There's nothing bad about this.
Well, okay, wait. Here's the thing about how this movie opened. So it opens up in this self-help seminar, and there's this guy who's giving a full-on speech on and has like signs and all these like
Ego
catchphrases.
is the
Yeah. And
acronym.
he's selling, he's doing a really good job like of like whatever. And then it ends and everybody in the room graduates from his self-help program. And then these two hippies and this old woman like are talking and they ask her for a ride. And none of that ever comes back. Like the way they like focused on it, it felt like, okay, this is going to be a thing in the movie now.
Yeah.
But it's never, it's just, and there's a lot of stuff like that for the first 20 minutes.
Yeah.
That's just like very memorable, but then moves on immediately. It has nothing to do with the rest of the movie.
So you're talking about, you think and now that you're saying it, yeah, it would have been a really cool hook if the thing of the movie was this woman goes to these self-help groups and lures these people, plays the like helpless old lady.
Yeah.
She gives them a ride or somehow gets them in their car or whatever. And then the hillbilly sons like have their way. I mean, that would be a good hook.
So I watched it twice, and the first time I know. So, but the first time I got something the second time that I didn't get the first time.
Yeah.
But the first time I got frustrated because I was like, it's not just him. It's not just the self-help guy.
Right.
There's like 3 or 4 characters in the first 10, 15 minutes that have like full on monologues or like dilemmas that they have to like solve or whatever. And then they're just never in the movie again. Like right. One of the girls the 3 main characters. There's these 3 girls that are high school and college friends,
right.
And they all live in different parts of the country. And it goes around. Well, okay, yeah, fuck it. I'll get into this now, and then we'll come back because I want to get back into the opening. They have these characters that like one of the girls' boyfriends is just kind of a deadbeat.
Oh my god, I love this. He's such
but he gives a whole monologue about
yeah.
how hard it is to be a deadbeat.
Yeah.
And the guy is really good. And I'm like,
he's too sensitive. He's too sensitive.
And he's like, how hard it is to have your woman go out and earn a living while you're at home. Like, that's really embarrassing. Like, and I'm like, I like this character. Like, this is fun. Like, I'm whatever. And he talks enough that you think he's going to be in the movie, and then he's never in the movie again. Then I think it's the same girl, or it might be another one. She goes downstairs of her apartment building and says something to the doorman, and the doorman
so good
has a whole monologue about like,
so the door I wrote
like a black guy can't catch a break, and
right. Yeah, the door guy is this young black guy, and this is 1980 when this movie was made. So he says something about she's telling him she's going camping or something, and she says you should get out, get out, and you'll feel free. And he goes, free. He's like, I'll never be free as long as I'm a black man in America. And then all of a sudden it's a hard cut to this woman singing on the street. She's
yeah. Well, then they start showing then she's walking down the street and it's like these, it's just New York weirdos. Like, there's a woman singing. There's a guy talking about the Rockefellers.
Great scene.
But like that, did you get Goldie Wilson vibes? Like from
yeah.
He's like black me whatever. Like I full on was like,
it was
Back
great.
To the Future.
Totally.
But I thought he was going to be a character because he has this weird monologue, even though that's not as bad as the first 2 guys,
right?
Like the self-help guy and the boyfriend, I mean, are main characters of scenes and then are not addressed again.
They even do the boyfriend in the baseball stadium, like that flashback.
Yeah, well, the flashback. Yeah.
But what I realize is that all these characters you're talking about, they're just there to show us who these girls are.
Yes, that's exactly the second time I watched it. I was like, oh, it's there. It was kind of progressive in that being like, oh, men are pieces of shit to these women. Like that's,
and also these women are in some way attracted or drawn towards these pieces of shit.
It fleshed out the girls because it also like it highlighted their bond, like why they are so important. You know what I mean? Because they look out for each other, and when they're all, kind of getting walked up,
It's also, though, it's not just men. The one of them, and it comes back later in the movie.
Oh yeah,
the mother.
Yeah.
So one of them is like takes care of the mom. She comes home, and right off the bat, the mom is calling her like a whore and a slut, and it's like, Jesus Christ, and she She doesn't get upset. She doesn't even.
No, it like
flinch, 'cause
rolls
she's-
right off
yeah.
her. Yeah,
And
it's like she doesn't notice. I mean,
and it's the line, "I'm a sick woman."
yeah,
What is it? I'm a sick woman. I'm a sick woman.
yeah. How
And
can you leave me here?
And that comes
know?
back later on with the hillbilly mom, with her death later on in the movie. So it's they're all these characters are there, and you know what? Credit to the movie. The definition, they are the definition of a supporting character, like a supporting actor. They're literally propping these characters up and defining these characters, these three chicks, in a terrible way.
So yeah, that I feel like we're giving this movie a lot of credit that it might not deserve. But anyway, yeah, before we establish all these characters that never come back, I want to go back to that opening scene because I was like fully on board. I was even on board like all through all the disposable characters, but like it opens up with these two hippies. They ask this woman for a ride. They're driving, like they keep giving each other looks. They're pulling out like rope. They're obviously gonna kill this old lady. And they stop the car, or something happens to the car. The old lady gets out, and they have this like weird tense scene where like it seems like they're gonna run over the lady, the old lady, and then they just fuck around with the radio. But then my favorite part of the whole movie, a katana sword comes in from like, and this doesn't even make it
from the
sense.
Bushes.
Well, the guy's sitting. The guy's sitting in the back seat of the car, and this sword just comes in and chops his head clean off.
Yeah,
like. What movie was it we were watching and we were like, how the fuck are you can't swing a sword at that angle, like inside a car?
Yeah, what was that? Oh man, it was a movie where somebody was swinging it. It wasn't Ghoulies, was it?
No, it was, I think it was the first run for sure.
I totally remember that. It's like there's no room to swing a sword inside a car. Well, he's outside the car and he somehow like swings it into the window.
Is like, the window's down.
Yeah, it's weird.
Even so, it would be hard to swing a sword and anyway, but this head gets chopped off.
Yeah.
There's blood squirting everywhere. I love it. I'm like, I'm in. This is good. This is great. Big fake head.
Yeah.
Everything like
Troma blood is very unique. It's almost like a Pepto-Bismol with like some kind of it's got a different color to it.
It's like thick and yeah. So then hippie chick gets out of the car and she's like she's met by the two antagonists of the movie.
The two sons.
Adley and Ike.
You know these guys?
Like from other movies?
Yeah.
No. I know one of them was in things. But
the little guy was in. Right off the bat, I was like, I know his face. I'm a big LA Confidential fan.
It's funny you say that. LA Confidential coming up a lot this week.
Really? Weird.
I watched Pam and Tommy. It's so Pam and Tommy was on, and there's a scene where she's auditioning for LA Confidential.
Really weird.
Yeah. By the way, Pam and Tommy is I know like everybody. I thought the same thing. Like I don't want to watch that. It's gonna be garbage.
Yeah.
It's fucking fantastic. It's really, really
the only reason I would watch that is because my boy Luke Skywalker's in it. What's his name? Stan Musial?
Sebastian Stan.
Sebastian Stan.
He's great.
Winter Soldier.
He's great, man. I usually don't like these things where like
I don't either.
Actors play real people that like clearly aren't the real people.
Yeah.
I mean, those they are close enough. The chick,
she looks just like her.
She did 4 hours of makeup every day.
Oh, really?
Like they made her forehead bigger. They gave her like
prosthetics, really?
Yeah, they changed her face to look like it. And
that's cool.
He looks like Tommy Lee. Like he looked.
Yeah, he does.
They nailed it. I'm telling you. And it's one of those things where you watch it and you think, oh, okay, so this guy's the good guy, this guy's the bad guy, and then it keeps flipping. It keeps changing it so that everybody is fleshed out. It's fucking great.
People are just watching it though to see the dicks and stuff. That's all.
There's plenty of that.
I'll tell you what. The reason I won't watch is because Seth Rogen. I can't stand him.
He isn't in it quite a bit, and I like Seth Rogen.
Seth Rogen. You like?
I
him?
like Seth Rogen. I do.
Really?
I do.
No,
yeah.
I don't like him. No. He's right in there. He's right in there with Seth Green. You know what?
He's a deal breaker for you.
Yeah, he's a big deal breaker.
Wow.
I won't go into it why it's my own thing, but stop giving Seth Rogen cool stuff to work on, please. That's all.
Well, he most of the stuff he does, it's of his own shit. Like it's his production company. Like he did Preacher, and he did.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh, please. Yeah, I mean that's his company.
It's garbage. Preacher is garbage.
Yeah, I agree. I did not like his interpretation of Preacher.
Yeah, stop interpreting things. Just interpreting things. Just make them how they are. It's all, the script is right there. Garth Ennis' book. Anyway.
Yeah.
So Dix and Pam Anderson. I don't know. I might check it out one of these days.
It's the best thing I've seen. Yeah, maybe this year so far. It's been a good year for stuff though.
Boba Fett? Come on.
Yeah. Yeah. This Boba Fett could have used a talking dick, which this show has.
Like a Sarlacc dick. Ugh, dude. A bantha dick. That's just
anything to get me interested.
Anything
that would have me raise an
Boba
eyebrow.
dick.
Yeah, besides 2 episodes. You know what? I take that back. You know what? Yeah. 2 episodes of The Mandalorian made me raise my eyebrows, but like that was it. I was watching Perfect Strangers and then 2 episodes of Cheers came on. I'd be like, that's weird.
That's good. That's good reference. This movie this movie kind of had talking dicks in it, I guess. In a way.
Yeah. I mean,
so you were talking about the when they introduced the brothers.
Yeah, the brothers, Ike and Adley.
And then the other guy, the other brother, the tall one. Look him up, Google him. You'll know his face.
Billy, the actor,
he's really
the tall
young
guy in
this movie.
Yeah,
but later on, he plays dudes.
I noticed he was in LA Confidential. I looked him up and I was like, oh, he's one of those guys that has like 1 or 2 lines and things,
things.
And he did look familiar. He reminded me of one of the McPoyle brothers from Always Sunny in Philadelphia. And I mean, to his credit, the bigger one, Ike.
Yeah.
He plays it well.
Yeah.
Like he plays a deranged, like
hillbilly.
Yeah, like mentally challenged, like rapist hillbilly.
Right.
Like he plays it very well. He has. I mean, those are fake teeth, right?
Oh yeah.
I mean, he has fake teeth. He has
Absolutely.
a fake eye. He has,
That's why you don't really recognize him when you Google him. You're like, I know that dude. He's been in stuff.
But he, so yeah, and I loved the opening. Like I really did. I love like the actress who used a fake name, by the way, for this movie.
The mom, you mean?
Yeah.
I don't think she did anything after this. I checked. I looked her up.
Well, did you look up the? Yeah, I mean,
her real name.
Well, her real name is Beatrice Pons. She was for lack of a better word, she was a union scab, basically, which is why she didn't use her real name.
Oh, okay.
There was this was a non-union movie, and she was in SAG, and I think it was SAG, whatever it was. She still wanted to do it, so she just did it under a different name, so they wouldn't find out. It starts off great, like, oh, cool, these 2 crazy hillbillies are with this old lady, whatever, and then we get to the man. Where do you even go with this? Like,
well, it's just the whole movie. You're waiting for the revenge. It's a revenge movie. I mean, I guess it's a revenge movie.
It decides to be one.
Yeah, it becomes one in a way, but it's a very, like, have you ever seen I think I Spit on Your Grave?
Yeah.
All right, so that's a revenge movie. That's like a real fucked
That's a much
movie.
better version. That's the other thing about this. I
wonder what year that is.
I think it's mid 70s.
Okay.
But like watching this, it reminded me of like, remember we were talking about Killer Party. We were like, well, there's a million other movies like this that do things better, but like the Killer Party was still good.
It knew what it was.
Yeah, the tone was all over the place.
Right. Like I Spit on Your Grave is like a serious from top to bottom. You're not in it. There's no moment in there where you're like, oh, let's do some comedy. It's
right. I mean, this reminded me of the first Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And like
this movie did.
Yeah. And like, but like,
it's got that grimy vibe.
Yeah. But the thing is, that's the thing. That movie knew what it was. And like, imagine if Texas Chainsaw Massacre, all of a sudden, like Leatherface and like his weird brother have a fucking like football scene where they're wrestling and like we're playing like fun music. Like
that is the Troma side of this movie, I think, where they mix something, something like misogyny or rape with fun times weirdness, and it's like
that's the thing. Like the rape, I think honestly, you take the rape out of this movie, and it's it's better. Like you don't, but even that, like I don't know. I would have either wanted it to be, okay, keep the rapes and make it scary, because it did make it a movie scarier. Absolutely. It totally made it.
It raised the stakes, especially when you're waiting for a revenge movie. Are these chicks going to make it through? And one of them doesn't. One of them gets killed or dies because of the abuse.
Yeah, but either do that, which I'm okay with. Like like I'm an adult. I can watch goofy shit.
If you've got a story to tell it.
or have a fun, like, oh, these hillbillies in the woods are like murdering people. Like you can have a fun, stupid movie.
Motel Hell.
Look at Motel Hell. Motel Hell is a lot of fun, and it's about the subject.
It made me think of it. I thought about that movie all through this, because I was like, Motel Hell is a movie where terrible these hillbillies basically they're doing terrible things, but it's creative, and it's like it's got its funny moments. It's also got its scary moments, but they never try to soften the blow of something like rape with silliness,
and that's the thing. Like you can't, and that's the thing. Like they don't shy away from any of their decisions. All the goofy stuff is like super goofy. But then
you talking about Motel Hell?
No, in
this. Okay.
Like all the stuff is like, we're gonna have a. But that's the other thing is like they didn't go for any, like nothing in this is like particularly creative or fun.
Right.
It's just presented as if it is. You know what I mean?
Right. With the exception of the exercise montage. I wrote
what the
down,
hell was that?
Mom's like, all right, boys. And it was weird too when it came up, because they just let the girls free in that room. That was where everything changed, was that, all right, give them their breakfast and then get down here for exercises. And they gave them their breakfast, and then they untied them, and they're just loose. And it's like, what are we doing here? Are you guys holding these chicks captive?
They kept escaping.
Or are you going to, but the exercise montage, I wrote down, and I just wanted to throw these out at you and get your thoughts. Mom puts these two guys, the two boys, through an exercise regime that I guess they do every day, which consisted of some really bananas exercise action music. And
it was like Rocky. It was like Rocky, but it was different enough.
It was like Rocky through like a cornucopia of like slime and Pubble Puffs.
But you definitely saw the intent.
Puffs? I don't know if that's Anyway, you got sack stabbing, melon smashing, grass crawling, neck lifts.
It's a real thing.
Okay. Doll hacking and window breaking, which was the one that I was like, wait a second. How many do you repair the windows every day on your own house and then break them again?
I thought the same thing with the melons.
You buy new melons though.
Yeah.
So it was pretty hard. And I'm a personal trainer. It was a pretty hardcore exercise regime.
It felt like someone had the idea, like, oh, what if they have like exercise, like, but like they're like murdering like exercises, and then it was like, okay, let's film that. Like this this reminded me of the movies I used to make when I was like 11 in my backyard.
That's so bizarre. Like what kind of
not the content, not that we were. I mean, we were making horror movies, but like. We weren't.
This reminds me of a movie.
It reminded like, oh yeah, you can just get a camera and film stuff and splice it together. By the way, we didn't. That's the other thing. We skipped the. I mean, we're gonna jump all over the place.
That's fine.
There's the whole scene where they go and they stop at the convenience store, and like there's the creepy clerk, and it's like, man, when do you think, like, did you ever? There's like self-reflection, like, I don't know, man, I know we're making a Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake or like a rip off, but you think this is too much? Like it's the same scene. It's just like,
it's also a similar scene to I think it's the Friday 13th.
Yeah.
So this scene in particular, it's almost like hypocritical in a way to the movie, because they set the three girls up with all the characters that we were talking about, the supporting characters that you brought up, to show the girls and what kind of lives that they have, that they're, at least a couple of them, lacking the self-esteem to like get out of certain situations in their lives. So they're looking at this road trip as like an escape from that. And then they go into this convenience store. So you have like you some pity for them. You feel bad for them. Awesome. You're getting a girls' weekend. Cool. We all know it's going to go bad. But then they go to this convenience store and they're complete assholes in this convenience store, to the point where I'm like, all right, you guys just qualified for like Friday the 13th fodder.
Yeah.
Where we know where you just kill him. I don't care about him anymore. But then, then the circumstances change again later on, and to the extreme where it's like, it's one thing to kill someone. It's another thing to rape them and kill them. It's like,
yeah,
it's weird. This movie didn't, and I can understand why Lloyd Kaufman was like, told his brother, like, dude, that's not what we do here.
Yeah.
Doing his brother a favor. Because this movie has elements that you could run with and would be.
It reminds me of, do you remember Dust Till Dawn with Quentin Tarantino? I didn't mean to interrupt you, but it just reminded me of like Dust Till Dawn with the Gecko brothers.
Yeah.
Where like Quentin Tarantino is a psychopath and like mentally fucked up, and like Clooney's like a good thief, and like but it has to, or he murders people when he has to.
Yeah, he has like his standards, whatever.
Yeah, and then he goes out and gets cigarettes and comes back, and like Quentin Tarantino's like raped and like murdered this like poor woman, and he's like, do you think this, and he's just, you think this is what I do? You think that's like Lloyd Kaufman?
That's such a great scene. Yeah, totally.
Where he's just like, do you think this is what I am?
Totally, man. And he's like trying to do his brother a solid, but at the same time he's making it so hard. It's like, God, what are you doing? Because this movie has so many elements that if they had ran with them, would work.
I think you put that Lloyd Kaufman like just spice in this. Like, even you could keep the rapes, and I bet he could make it work. I don't know. I mean, he's that talented, like making things, but like, and it doesn't always, I don't love all the Troma, whatever. Sometimes it's like, this is fucking stupid, but it's what you sign up for.
Sure.
This was just like,
it also depends on the era that the Troma movie came out. Like 80s Troma is pretty solid, but when you get into the 90s and then later, it's like, why are we still doing this?
Well, because there's there's not just a market for it, but there's an audience for it, and like their new movie is called Shakespeare Shitstorm, and I want to watch it, but I'm also like, I'm probably not going to enjoy this, but also like I'm signing it. You know what I mean? It's a winner.
But how many of their new movies have you watched? Because you say that like, oh, I've watched them all so far. Might as well watch them. I'd like to watch the new one.
No. I mean, like I
know isn't true.
I haven't seen any. Yeah, I haven't seen any real new ones in a while. I just have a lot of respect for what they do, because they're just so. There's someone that loves everything they do. You know what I mean?
And they're kind of the only people that do what they do.
Right. There's nobody making shit like that at that level. Like there's.
I follow Kaufman on Instagram, and every once in a while, the algorithm will allow his posts to pop into my feed, and they're bananas, man. Like, you ever, like when he shows like a behind the scenes or like footage of the shooting of one of their new movies, and it's like, it's like a disco party where everybody's like half dressed, and there's like, they're covered in like banana pudding, and it's just like a fucking shit show. And Kaufman's right there in the middle of it with this wacky face. And it's like, what are you guys doing? Okay. What like, whatever you're doing, you're the only ones doing it, and you're loving it. So fine. You're not hurting anybody, but it's like, what are you doing? That's Troma. It's like,
yeah. I mean, it's the kind of thing where like, if somebody ever walked in on me watching a Troma movie, I'm going to have to explain it, or be like, hey man, can you, whatever, like, I'm glad they exist. I subscribe to the app, and I watched a bunch of stuff when I first got the app, because they have the whole library on their app, Troma
Really?
now. It's $5 a month.
Okay.
And I was deleting subscription services I have recently. And I got to that one. I was like, you know what? I have no problem giving them $5 a month.
Yeah.
Like, just keep being Troma.
Yeah.
I'm glad they exist.
Yeah.
Back to this movie.
Um,
Anyway, these girls go camping. You have this scene where it's so weird. You have this scene, and at this point, I'm still like on board because we had the goofy like convenience store scene. We had all that cool like kind of character stuff in the beginning, and then they're all camping and they have a flashback, which is a weird choice.
Very weird. Just the placement of it. If they had done it before the road trip, it would have made sense. But it's like, what?
Yeah, I mean, it was a weird place. It reminded me of the flashback in Stand By Me. And it's not the flashback, the story that they tell.
Okay, it's been too long since I've seen that movie.
Oh, it's a good movie. Anyway, sure. And they tell there's this flashback, and there's a guy that was a jerk, and they bring him out to a football field to think he's gonna get laid, and then they get him naked and they turn on all the lights and he freaks. It's a fun bonding story between them. And then one of them like pretends to be murdered, all this, and then these two hillbillies just show up and kidnap him and then rape him, and that's the I mean that, and then the I'm sorry, and they go skinny dipping too before that happens. They go skinny dipping.
They're camping throughout this whole like beginning of the thing, and there's always somebody watching, which I actually
I thought that was good.
I wanted to ask you about because the mom's always talking about Queenie, and we see Queenie at the end. I wonder at first, before they showed the hillbillies actually watching the chicks in the water skinny dipping, I was thinking, is this because you don't know about Queenie until later on? At this point, you don't know about her if it's your first time watching. But having seen it, I wonder if any of that was her watching.
I don't know. I hadn't thought about it until you said that, but now maybe. I don't know. Another
element that I wish they had done more with.
It felt like an afterthought.
Yeah.
Didn't it? Like
it
felt like
mom talks about her a lot.
Yeah, but at the same time, she talks about her a lot, but they don't go into it. They just say Queenie was here, Queenie, whatever, and you're like, what is it? What the fuck is it? What is that about? Yeah. And then at the start, at like the third act, she just does this exposition dump about how she was like she had a twin that was like that was a psycho, like all this weird stuff. They chopped her ear off and they put her in the woods and all, and it was like, and I remember watching and thinking like, what is this filler? Is this ever going to come back? Is this going to be like all the characters in the beginning? Like what is this for?
And then for it to come back when it did, it's the very last. It's literally the very last scene
where it's very last shot.
Very last shot, which is great. I love it, but it's also like, what the fuck did this movie just do? Like, it's a hillbilly, crazy.
I mean, like if you're gonna do, like I mean,
and then it's a monster movie.
Yeah, I mean, it just the tone is all off, and it's like, and it really has these seeds of like, oh, this could be a really like just describing what's happening in the movie sounds like it's a way better movie. It reminds me of the Star Wars prequels, like where like that's what I've always said I'm going to do with my kids is I'm not going to show them those. I'm just going to say this is what happens in them. Don't watch them, but this is what goes down.
It's rough,
like because the execution just isn't good. But like as we're describing like what happens in the movie, it sounds like a much better movie, And I'm thinking about scenes where like, oh, they have to like. They're trying to escape and they're lowering the one girl with the sleeping bag, but that's juxtapositioned with this stupid. There's literally a scene where like, where they're wrestling in the front in the yard, and but they're playing this goofy like violin like hillbilly music. It's this fun scene that goes on forever. It's like the fucking They Live fight where it's going on forever.
It's like Benny Hill almost.
Yeah, but then that's spliced together like that's intercut with these women that are trying to like repel their way out of a barn because their friend got raped and they got beat up. Like it's like, like it just doesn't work.
It's weird because this is where I guess the motivations of the characters become soft and like, what are they trying to accomplish, or what is their like, what do they do?
Talking about the girls or the
hillbillies? because
I don't think they know. They're just
yeah. And I know that that's the mentality they've set up for the viewer is like, they don't fucking, I mean, look at the breakfast scene. It's like they come down for breakfast and it's like, this is their own home where they live. And it's just fucking, it's a mess of a mess on top of a mess. And it's insane. It's just pure insanity. Eating cereal out of buckets and then leaving shit all over. And mom's it's bananas. And to establish like these characters as being one thing and their motivations being one thing when it's not, it's like, it's a very ADD sort of mindset that they're in, jumping from one part of their day to the next. Meanwhile, like you said, these chicks are like trying to, escape this mess.
Yeah. You've got to,
but as the viewer, you've got to like you've got to sort through all this. What am I supposed to be?
Yeah, man. Like, am I supposed to be into Jason or am I supposed to be into the camp? You know what I mean? Like,
right.
Like you can enjoy Jason, like killing these guys, but if Jason was raping chicks, it wouldn't be as fun.
Jeez,
I mean, think about it. Here's a perfect example.
Yeah.
Everybody loves Freddy Krueger. And then when they did the remake, with Jackie Earl Haley,
right,
they decided to change the origin of Freddy Krueger, that he was also a child rapist,
right,
on top of a child murderer.
Right.
And it just muddies it up, man. It's like,
yeah.
Oh, it's not. And even though he was a lot darker, like he wasn't making the jokes and the puns and stuff like Freddy, but like
it takes your eye off of enjoying the character of Freddy. You can't enjoy that character because of that one aspect that he did. And it's the same. That's a great point to bring up, because it's the same with these guys. Like, there is a way to enjoy characters like this, but when you add a certain element, whether it's not even the fact that they're like rapists, it's the fact that they're like with this they're what is this goof bullshit, like where they're wrestling, like
I don't know, are they trying to like it makes them less scary, but it also like
and I mean, the Freddy example is perfect, because it's like, oh shit, this guy kills kids. I'm like, when we were watching it growing up, it's like, this guy kills kids. I'm a kid. I remember, I dream, like, oh, that's freaky. But then you throw in the element of like whatever the word is, of raping kids. It's like pedophilia. It's like, whoa, like that's not something it's not. I can't relate to that. Like, I hope you can't.
Yeah. It puts it on a whole new level, man.
Yeah.
Like, imagine if that was part of the original, like in the Nightmare on Elm Street 3, where he's like, I mean, he's making jokes. You know what I mean? He's like, even in like 5, like he's making full on.
He makes jokes in one. Yeah,
I mean, he does. He makes jokes in one. One's one. They really do a great job of like of balance, exactly,
with his character, the balance.
Yeah, and eventually they lose it completely, like by Freddy's dead. But man, like it would be like one of those things. I mean, it's like with Anakin and killing the kids. It puts a mark on the whole thing. Like, it's a thing you can keep pointing out to be like, sure,
yeah.
Like, I remember, it's one of my favorite memes someone sent me. Back in the day, it's a picture of Obi-Wan handing Luke is the lightsaber. He goes, this lightsaber belonged to your father. He murdered like 30 kids with it. Like, it kind of takes the, like, okay.
Yeah. I mean, I totally get it, man. That's great. I want to poster that, but it's also, in that situation, it's what you decide to focus on, because I guess, in a way, I mean, he still did kill kids, but it's also like, I
feel like even Freddy would be like, ew, no, I'm not that. You know what I mean? Like, that'd be over the line for Freddy.
Yeah, that's hilarious. So I think everything before the actual, everything before, I guess the turning point in the movie here is when they find what's her face in the drawer. Jackie.
That was interesting.
So Jackie's the first girl who they took out, they raped her, they fucked with her, they beat her. It's insane. And a lot of the way that they showed what was going on was like, again, man, it's like, all right, there's a way to do this the right way and there's a way to do it the wrong way. And it's hard to watch a lot of it.
Yeah,
with her, with Jackie's scenes, especially when she just gives up and like she's basically just this rag doll to them. Yeah. And then she disappears for a while. The other two women get free and they find her shoved in this drawer. She's still alive, but they also find the hippies from the beginning in a closet. And so they finally escape with Jackie and get her out into the woods and hide her. And she ends up, and then the blonde goes looking for help. The other one stays. She ends up dying just of everything. And this is where the characters kind of switch. The blonde is chased for like what seems to be like 2 days by the big hillbilly. And she finally cracks. She was the tough one. And the other one kind of takes over as the lead, the tough one.
Yeah.
And this is where kind of the revenge kind of starts, I guess.
Well, they realize, so they try to get to their car and they get to the car and they open the hood and something's wrong with it.
There's underwear in the, don't put underwear in your engine.
Yeah, I was wondering what was up. I think that was just, I don't know. They fucked with the car. The car doesn't work anymore. She goes all the way back because and then her friend's dead. One of the girls stayed with the friend, with Jackie. Jackie dies while she's out. Anyway, oh, you did? I'm sorry. You could edit that out. I'm just saying that they sorry. And then, but yeah, it becomes, once they realize they're like, hey, oh, that's what it was. While she's gone, after they find the car and this cop shows up and she runs up to the cop and she's like, oh, thank God, whatever. And it turns out to be Ike, the hillbilly. She fights him. She knocks him off a cliff. He rolls down a hill. Oh,
I'm so glad you brought that up, man. That was hilarious. Like that was the funniest part in the whole movie, where she like throws a rock in the bushes and he dives for it into the bushes, but the bushes are at the edge of like a cliff and he just goes rolling down.
He just dives off
for like 5 minutes.
That would have been a good way to kill that character. You know what I mean?
If there was more stuff like that in this movie, I think it would have. He does that a couple times.
That would have been
first screaming jump.
That would have been a great approach. Is like, because these guys are really dumb.
Yeah.
Have it where like they're easily like, like
fooled.
Yeah. Like that's how easy it is to.
That is how they kind of killed the first one. Remember, they like.
They take it. No, the first one they take an axe to his balls.
Well, but they lure him to the door. He's like, "Who's trying to get in here?" And he like goes to the door. The door opens, and it's like. Whoosh.
I mean, that's how they get the mother too. That's kind of, all these people are dumb,
right? So, but that's where the they're fucking idiots. But that's where that's where like the whole tone of the movie for me changed, was this stuff. And you get the one. The of the two survivors, the one who was like checked out, she was just checked out. The blonde was handling the situation, and it switches because when the blonde gets back, she sees her friend dead. She's also like, she's dead. The cops are hillbillies. Like we're
I think she gives up. She's like, hey, like we can't get out. It reminded me, like, you can't get. They just don't know their way around the woods.
Yeah,
they're dressed up. She has a line they wrote down. It goes, "He's the police."
Yeah,
which I remember thinking, like, does she think he's a cop?
Yeah,
because I'm pretty sure he's clearly not a cop. He just owns the cop uniform.
Right. He stole the car.
Yeah, he clearly, yeah. He's not really a cop. But so I remember when she said that, I was like, is that what they're gonna do? Like, is he? But then, like, a few scenes later, the mother's like, "You no more pretend to be a police officer." So I was like, okay, at least. Please, he doesn't have a day job as a cop. I mean, he's got, that would have
been great.
I mean, he's got rotten teeth. He's got an eye that's like, he's got a rotten eye. He's got, yeah. Ike isn't.
It's not Wiggum material.
He's not police material.
They get this plan, and this was weird. They like drag Jackie's body over to the house and prop her up so that she's dead at this point, so that she can see the revenge happen.
Well, I thought that, like, oh, well, maybe they're trying to get out, and they're trying to, but yeah, when they bring it back to the house,
Yeah.
that was weird. Like you would think they would just, hey, let's leave her here. We'll do the revenge thing and come back and get her. But they prop her up and like they take her stuff too. They take like her necklace.
Yeah. Yeah. It was weird. It was a weird scene.
And then they bury her out
and they bury her there. It was like, nah, dude, if that ever happens to me, take me somewhere else. Don't leave me there.
Just leave me there and then tell the,
or
if you escape, tell them where you left me.
I don't want to be buried in like forever in like a hillbilly.
Actually, that's how the movie ends.
marsh.
Now that I think about it, after they go back, they kill Adley.
So what did you think about the revenge? The revenge lasted like maybe 10 minutes of the movie.
It was okay.
Axe
a lot
to the
of like,
balls.
yeah, they trick him into opening the door for him. They give him an axe to the balls,
and he gets an antenna through the throat.
He gets the antenna through the throat first, and then the axe to the balls, and then they tackle him and they like suffocate him, like they jam a bunch of like stuff in his mouth.
Right.
I don't know. Everybody in this, I don't know. Whenever somebody was playing dead, it was like, it reminded me of when I used to shoot movies in my backyard when I was 11. Like it was.
I've never heard you talk about this stuff, and
I used to do it a lot.
Of all movies to remind you of the movies you used to make, this one, it's like,
see if I can dig those up.
Yeah, please do.
It was, anyway, it was okay. It was like, all right, whatever.
Yeah.
And then Ike walks in on him, right? Or because
he enters this whole thing like again by jumping through a window and crashing, and then they drag his body. They drag the little brother's body outside. Ike sees him and he goes jumping through the window.
Yeah, that's
and then
right.
realizes that he's dead and loses his shit. And the girl,
and then they come at him with Drano.
Yeah,
that was the other thing. She like ran back in the house. She knew exactly where this Drano was.
And she does it in, like they show it. The camera's like on the Drano in the house. She runs in and knows exactly where it is and grabs it and goes back out. It's like, all right.
It was weird. And what a weird, like, you could have grabbed anything, like, and you grabbed this Drano and like, it's just a weird, I mean, I guess they were like, were we just going to stab him? Like, that's not very original. And I guess it's original, but it's not. Making someone drink Drano isn't a thing you could do in the middle of a fight. You know what I mean? It's not like a move you can, it's not like a knife you can stab him
you did
with.
that Drano move. Nice.
Yeah. And they cock his head back and they make him drink Drano and he throws up a bunch.
And it's powdered Drano on top of it. It's not like liquid. It's weird.
Yeah.
Comet or something. I don't know.
Yeah, so he throws up a whole lot, but then I like that he kept throwing up, like as the scene went on. He kept like, and then he chases the blonde. I have their names written down too, but he chases the blonde in, and it was a weirdly shot because it was
say that again when you're not yawning.
It was weirdly shot. Yeah, it was weirdly shot because he's like going in, and it's like she's in the corner. He's like, okay. That's it. I'm gonna fucking kill you now.
Yeah.
And you would think you would. So the trick they're doing is one of them's in the corner being bait, and the other one is hiding behind this wall, and she's gonna smash a TV on this head. And the way you would shoot the scene is to trick the audience into thinking, oh wow, he's
you turn
really
the camera around,
right? But they show they show from the girl on the floor's perspective, so you see what they're planning for a while,
right? And
then she does it and it works, and there's this goofy scene where he's running around and with a TV on his head.
Hey, Kevin, look at this.
This is not what happens.
I always draw stuff for in my notes. And I drew the guy with the TV.
What was hilarious though,
running around.
So like, and when they did it, he's like running around and he's getting electrocuted.
Yeah.
And my first thought was like, that TV's not plugged in, but then it is because it's the longest cord in the world coming off of this TV, and you don't see it plugged in, but it's a giant cord. So it's implied that it's plugged in. And then he wakes up again.
How do they get him finally? I forget. He's got the TV on his head.
He's got the TV on his head, so he's all burnt up.
I don't know. They like smash something on him or something. I don't know.
I think they know it's the rope, isn't it? Or is that no? That's the old lady. Don't they break out the rope and like choke him?
I can't remember.
I don't remember. It
They
doesn't
kill
matter.
him anyway. He dies, and then the mom's creeping around the house, and they lure her out with the old knife in the back trick that they did the prank that she played on them earlier.
Yeah.
And the mom's like, "Oh, I'm gonna get you now," and then they kill her with like a. I wrote
What
down.
was that about?
It's like a giant clear plastic boob case. Is that what that
It's
is?
so weird. And it seemed like it was something that might have been mentioned earlier in the movie, but it
I don't
wasn't.
know,
It was like a
man.
big inflatable
Boob
boob,
case.
a clear boob.
Clear,
case.
and like
And
they
then
jam it into her mouth.
so yeah, they're suffocating her with this big fake boob, which again sounds like this
Troma.
sounds way cooler than
Yeah.
it is. And it sounds like it should be in a Troma movie.
And
Like this
but
sounds
it's not.
hilarious. And
It's
it's not. It's stupid. It's like, what is this? And then while they're like suffocating her, like trying to kill her, she's having all these like she's saying like, please don't, I'm an old woman, I'm not, whatever, help me have it. And then
this is where it comes.
this is where
back in.
the girl starts having these like
I'm a sick woman. I'm a sick woman.
all these callbacks to the opening to her own mother,
Right.
and she has this like freak out about taking like all this shit that like comes piling up. That's like when this is a lot of like character development that wasn't, you know what I mean? And she just like
she just dump.
Yeah, it's like it's nuts. It would be like if at the end of a Little Shop of Horrors, when Seymour starts like killing the plant, like when he electrocutes it.
Yeah.
If he was like stabbing it and then started talking about like Mushnik, about how he like never appreciated how like, and it started like getting all like bringing up all this weird stuff about his parents. Like you'd be like, what? Where did this come from? You know what I mean? Like this isn't really established at any point in this movie.
Right.
And it was so much so that I was like, they say like when she says something about like her daughter, I was like, are they implying she's part of? I had to like, it didn't register with me right away because I forgot about the mom at the beginning of the movie. Like, oh yeah, the mom did say that goofy shit.
Yeah, it was a weird death, and like, I mean, of all of them, I wanted her to die. The mom, she was fucking creepy, but
yeah,
it was just a weird death for her. I could have thought of 7 dozen better deaths, better ways to take out this woman. Like, why not? If you're going to put Queenie in at the end, and this is a character, or this is something that the mom's been worried about this whole time.
Yeah.
Tie her to a chair and drag her outside and let her sit there and let Queenie have her. That would have been cool. That would have been a good way to bring Queenie in for that scene. Instead, after this, the movie ends with 2 chicks outside going, we did it. We were meant to survive. We were meant to be here. We're going to be okay. And then all of a sudden, the camera goes to the bushes and it's this creature woman looking,
and
lurking.
It ends in your 80s freeze frame.
Yeah, but this is this is not how I
this
like
is
that
just
stuff.
Like Perfect Strangers.
Yeah. Yeah, with her up in the air, like kind of like this.
Yeah, she reminded me of oh god, what's his name? She reminded me of one of the characters in Neverending Story.
Really?
Well, you remember in the beginning, like where you have the rock creature, or the rock biter. You have the snail, the guy on the racing snail.
Yep.
And then you have the third guy who's he's like a bat.
Yes.
Or like a caveman.
He's got like a top hat on or something.
No. That's the racing snail guy.
Okay.
There's another guy who's like,
I remember who you're talking about.
He's like half caveman, half like bat or something.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Just like shaggy and weird.
Yeah, just weird.
Just fucking
I mean, the makeup on her wasn't bad though.
Yes.
And they show like the ear missing, like they said in the beginning. And
it's just an element that almost supernatural, that it's like, why? Like, what are you doing?
It felt like, it felt tacked on. Like it felt, even that scene where she explains who it is, like felt tacked on.
Yeah.
It just felt, I don't know.
Weird.
Everything felt weird. It felt like someone who didn't know what they were doing.
Yeah. Well, they turned in it's like they turned in a script that was like, and this, and then this, and this. And it's like, all right, you got to pick and choose.
Yeah.
What kind of movie is this? And they're like, well, can you at least give me Queenie at the end? Did you happen to see or read or whatever, if this got a theatrical release?
I don't think it did. It might have got like a midnight kind of.
I guess Tromas don't really do that.
It didn't get an MP double A. It didn't get an official rating, and it was funny. And it wasn't allowed to be released in a lot of countries, like Germany, and like the UK. It just came out like in 2015. Like it became available over there. It's funny that one of the things it says is that it went unrated, and it was seemingly because they knew they would get an X rating, so they didn't want to go through the process just to get an X rating. But according to wherever I read this, it was like they just didn't want to spend the money. They'd already burned a bunch of money on other stuff, and they said, "Fuck it." Like, why are we going to pay to get it rated?
Yeah, what I know that we talked about earlier, we mentioned it earlier. Ebert had some. He like, I read a few reviews, and obviously they were all like, "Fuck this movie." But
this is on his movies that he's hated the most. I don't know. Yeah, he hated it.
So I wonder why and how he saw it. Like, why did he bother? He just wanted to see what everybody's talking about.
I don't know. I think he saw it actually, he says it in the beginning of the review.
Especially since it didn't get like a major release. I just wonder how this ended up on his radar. I'd love to see if that was in an episode of what is it? Night at the Movies? What was the show called?
There was sneak previews. There was Siskel and Ebert eventually
at the movies. Were they doing this back then? 1980?
Yeah, they were. I think sneak previews was it was sneak previews at that point.
Okay.
It says he was part of a large crowd on Saturday afternoon of moviegoers. Some of them, no doubt, taking a break from Christmas shopping. And I wanted to see how this cross section of Americans would react to the movies. He says he almost walked out after the first 5 minutes, and then he's like, "Nope, I'm going to stick around because I want to see how people like react to this."
This was a Christmas movie.
It came out at Christmas. I mean, you'd think it would come out in May. It's on Mother's Day.
It's weird. Again, they didn't want to ruin it, just like us. You know what? I would not recommend this movie to anyone for any reason.
Nope.
Right?
Like, basically, there's tons of movies that do everything that this movie does better.
Yeah.
Like, you want,
some of them more serious, some of them funnier.
You want creepy hillbilly rapists? If you're in the mood for that, there's a few movies that I would recommend over
The Hills Have Eyes.
Deliverance,
Spit on Your Grave.
Yeah, there's plenty of movies that do everything in this better.
Right.
It just seems like nobody knew what they were doing.
Right. It's man, Monster Squad. What happened? Could have been sitting here talking about Monster Squad. Lesson learned. You got anything else on this one? I don't want to.
No, I'm good. I'm interested. Yeah. I think you said last week, like, I think you're gonna like this. This is your kind of movie. I was
okay,
like,
so
when I'm watching, I'm like,
what
the hell does that mean?
I saw this movie, must have been like 2018, 2019, something like that. Kind of felt the same way. When you see this on like the first time without anybody telling you about it or watching it for a podcast, and you just stumble on it and watch it, it's not entertaining. It's still fucked up, but at least it's not like you're not looking at it with any critical eye or any hype or opinions, not hype, but opinions.
And you can turn it off whenever you feel like, you know what I mean? Like, you don't, I know what you mean.
I guess I was just like, oh, Kevin's really going to like these rape scenes or something. I don't know. No, I don't know what it was, but I would not recommend this to anyone. It's distasteful to the max. It's, and it doesn't do any of, like Kevin said, there's a million movies that do elements of this so much better, and there's just no fun in it. There's no fun to be had. You can't even laugh at the hillbilly guys because they're not empty. They're empty characters, so I don't know. Just leave it alone. But yeah, we did it. What do you want? Are you
I'm on.
This ends a good letter, man.
And there's a lot of good ones.
I'm curious. I hope whatever it is, it redeems this.
I mean, I think it will.
What do you got?
So this is a badass movie, and I haven't.
Tell me what you didn't pick.
I didn't pick Night of the Living Dead.
Right. Wow.
I didn't pick any of the Nights. I didn't pick Night of the Creeps. Well, we did Night of the Creeps last time.
Night of the Comet. You had a chance to watch Night of the Comet.
Didn't do Night of the Comet. Didn't do Night of the Demons.
Dude.
Didn't do. I don't know.
Yeah. So you picked Necessary Roughness
with Sinbad.
With Sinbad.
No. But this is one that I saw years ago.
Okay.
And Doug, and I've been meaning to go back and watch it because I don't remember. Like I remember really liking it.
Yeah.
It's a real pain in the ass to find. I eventually found it on DVD. It's still not on Blue. It's super out of print. It's not on any streaming services that I know of. It's Near Dark, the Catherine Bigelow vampire movie.
All right, that's fair. Why is that fresh in my brain?
I think Red Letter Media
did
it a few weeks ago, which I didn't watch the review because I was planning on picking it, and I was like, shit, because I don't want anything, tainting. And I'm not. By the way, if you want to do one of the other ones, I mean, I'm down. But I know you kind of like this movie.
No, I don't have an opinion on this movie because it's been too long since I've seen it. I have seen it.
That's how
it's been too long.
I caught it on. You know what? I think I caught it on HBO. Like when I was like 17 or 18, like late at night, and I was just like, it was one of those times where I didn't know the name of the movie. I turned it on, maybe like 25 minutes in, and I was like, this movie's fucking awesome, but like, what is it? Because back then things were just on.
Yeah. Yeah. No, absolutely. Absolutely.
But yeah, and I saw it years later and dug it, but really never did analysis. You know what I mean? So I'm excited.
I'm looking forward to Bill Paxton, Lance Henriksen, Adrian. Damn, what's his last name? The main guy in it. He's from Heroes. Or not, maybe his name's not Adrian. Adrian was his name in Heroes, but the main guy. I think next season though, I'm really hoping that we do Monster Squad and Night of the Comet.
I mean, we could. I don't know anything about Night of the Comet.
It's a zombie movie. It's really good. It's
a zombie movie.
Yeah, it's just a movie that you got to see. I don't want to say anymore if you didn't know that. I shouldn't have said that, but no, Near Dark is good. Vampires, let's do it. I'm looking forward to it. It's got its fans. Yeah, that's good. It's a good pick. At least it'll be entertaining. So
yeah, I mean, it's got to be better than this,
Absolutely. My apologies to anybody who is watching this. I hope we can make it up to you. You got anything else? What do you want to share? Anything else? You got chicken wings to go to?
Yeah, I'm gonna make some chicken wings.
Oh, I wanted to ask you about. It was a Star Trek question. What
about the new Picard show?
No, but I'll substitute it with. Have you ever seen the show Farscape?
Yeah. Is
that Star Trek?
No,
it's its own thing.
It's its own thing. Jim Henson Company did the puppets for it.
Dude, it's bananas. Like it's not enjoyable in like a Doctor Who sense. I don't enjoy it. Like I like Doctor Who. I grew up.
Oh, really? See, I don't like Doctor Who. I tried.
Tried. Doctor Who's one of those things you really.
I came in at Eccleston.
That's when I grew up with Doctor Who in the 80s with Tom Baker has the scarf, big hair, and didn't watch it until the relaunch with Eccleston. And then I watched all of it to a certain point, and then I was just like, all right, this is too much. But Farscape, man, I'll give him credit for that. Like the creature effects in it are bananas for a TV show, dude. Like bonkers stuff.
Yeah, it was really cool that like I always go with Star Trek creatures. They're
bogus.
They're awesome, but like they're mostly humanoid. Like it's
it's somebody with paint on their face.
I mean, they have like big aliens and stuff sometimes,
except for the ones that look like butt heads, whatever those guys.
Yeah, but they rarely go with like like I don't know how to put it, but like they rarely, like in the new Star Trek cartoon, there's a character that's like huge and you know what I mean, and it's like that there's not really aliens like that in Star Trek.
Right. I also wanted to mention, I think I tagged you or I sent you a picture of Robert Picardo.
Oh, Robert Picardo and
some dude that
Ethan Phillips.
What's his name? What's the actor's name?
The actor's name is Ethan Phillips.
But you said Neelix. All right. So it's these two dudes from Star Trek. I love this picture.
They're both from Star Trek Voyager.
They're both from Star Trek, but they're sitting in a Star Wars land speeder from Tatooine.
Yeah.
Wishing that they had been in that instead of Star Trek.
No, they were bitching about it. Like if you listen to it, they were like, this doesn't handle that well.
I know. Isn't the character that dude plays, the Neelix guy? He looks like a big vagina, right? His face looks like a big. He's got the
No.
weird big bat thing and like the nose, right?
No, you're thinking of Quark.
Who's this guy?
It's a Quark. You're thinking of Quark, who's on Deep Space Nine. He plays a Ferengi, and there's Ferengi in these shows.
Ferengi?
Yeah, Ferengi are the guys that have the giant ears that go
It looks like a
around to the
vagina,
front of
yeah,
their face.
on your face.
Wallace Shawn, the actor from
Yeah.
Princess Bride. You know Wallace Shawn?
Inconceivable?
Yes.
Okay.
He plays the Grand Nagus, who's like he's like the president of Ferengi.
The vagina faces?
Yeah,
Okay.
like he's awesome. Anyway, what was your question? Sorry.
No, I was making the comment that the
Oh yeah.
these two Star Trek guys
no,
were
so
wishing that
Neelix,
they were in Star Wars.
yeah, no, Neelix is a different guy.
Neelix.
And a lot
What
of people
name
think
is Neelix. Get out of here.
a lot of people think he's annoying.
Yeah, I know the actor, and he's always like, he's fine. He's whatever.
Great. He's it's funny because Robert Ricardo auditioned for Neelix,
Oh,
and
dodged a bullet there, buddy.
yeah, and they instead he got the coolest part on the show,
Yeah,
and doesn't have to wake up.
Yeah.
This guy had to sit in fucking 6 hours of makeup every day
yeah.
to be the most annoying character in Star Trek.
Oh,
like, but I mean, I like Neelix. Don't get me wrong.
Sure.
Like I've come around to Neelix.
Okay. There's
but
another shirt. Somebody make it. I've come around to Neelix.
Fucking yeah. That's a thing that you have to do if you're gonna watch Voyager. Like
Yeah.
eventually, Star Trek is the best at that. Where you start watching a new one, you're like, I don't like this. I don't
Yeah.
like that. I don't like that. I like my old crew. But then by the time like season 3 comes around, you're in.
Well, then how do you know that with Picard season 3, you won't be enjoying it? Maybe you will. Give it time.
Because it's different. It's not the same. It's
But you're saying right now what you said about the other stuff that you said about.
because the soul was still there. Like that's the thing. Like with like season 1 of Next Gen and season 1 of like Deep Space Nine, it's not like they just don't have their feet yet. Like they're not. And granted, any show is going to be better, you know, probably in season 4 than whatever. And I've heard the new season is better than season 1. It can't be much worse if you ask me. But
Yikes.
it's
Logan.
It's but yeah.
All right. Well,
yeah, Star Trek's great for that.
I hope that this made up for me choosing Mother's Day, giving you guys some Star Trek talk.
Have you ever had a theme song that you hated?
Yeah.
And then eventually like loved more than like anything?
Possibly. I can't think of one.
Because that's
Do you really, really, really want it? No, that one's awesome from the beginning.
Because it's every Star Trek, especially Enterprise, is like when you hear the new theme song, because it's all orchestras and shit, you're like, what is this? This doesn't hit like the other one did. But then by the end,
dude, Mandalorian, absolutely.
I
hated that song. I love it now.
Oh, I love it. I tell you what, you know what my
but I hated
favorite
it
part
at the beginning.
My favorite part of Boba Fett, is the theme song. By far,
great themes. It's great.
It's great.
Ludwig Göransson, man, he does amazing work.
It's so good. It's so good. But it's even better that like when people make fun of Boba Fett, and they plug in that theme song, because all the episodes end with the like what, like end.
Yeah.
So like, I forget. Have you seen like these like 5-second videos of like him on the thing being like a Bantha, and then they do the hard cut to like whoa, like executive produced like John Favreau. It's hilarious.
Send me one. I gotta see that. That's hilarious.
It's the best drop. Like ever.
Man, yeah, it's a great song. They all are. But I remember Mandalorian being like, this does not feel like Star Wars music. What is this? And now I love it. I love it.
But yeah, that's every Star Trek show, especially Enterprise.
Yeah,
there's words in it in the theme song.
Okay,
like it's a band.
Star Trek.
It's funnily enough, the original theme song, Gene Roddenberry wrote lyrics for it that he had no intention of using, but he just wanted like rights. Like he was like, hey, I get a credit like every time we play it, right? If I write lyrics for this, we don't have to use the lyrics. Yeah, okay. And it's just like Star Trek. Like there's technically lyrics to that song that they never used, just so he could get a cut.
That's awesome. I feel like I've heard those or that version. I don't know, maybe not.
I don't think they ever recorded it.
They did that with Buck Rogers too, with the theme song. The pilot is the only one that has lyrics in the music, in the theme music. It's weird. It's really
what about
weird.
when Leia sings the Star Wars song?
The Life Day
Yeah,
song?
on Life Day. It's
Dude, her mouth
si-
is enormous when she sings that song.
she's singing the John Williams theme has lyrics. Like,
It's weird.
It's
fucking
insane.
weird, man. Should we exit? You good?
Yeah. I'm
Okay.
gonna send you the theme to Enterprise. I think
Okay.
it's a song you'll like.
I'm sure I'll enjoy it. I'm sure of it. Folks, if you
This went off the rails.
if you would like to reach out to the podcast, find us on social media, Twitter, Instagram, Death by Podcast. We are working on the YouTube channel, which will be fantastic. Eric Wolfgang is Wolfie Boy 21 is doing some artwork for that. He already did the banner and he's doing some thumbnail stuff, and it's going to be great. If you would like to support the show directly, please check out our Patreon, patreon.com/deathbypodcast, where we have our second show, BoobTube TV. We talk about horror TV show instead of a movie. And this week we did a Tales from the Crypt episode from season 2. Next week we're doing another one from season 2. That's fun stuff. We've also got stickers of ours, custom stickers that you can get over there. Some behind the scenes stuff of for the podcast, and all kinds of groovy ghoulies over there. So go check it out. Patreon.com/deathbypodcast. Leave us a comment, likes. But you know what? I think the biggest thing that would help us, if you wish to help the show, is just tell somebody about the show. If you're enjoying the absolute garbage that we're putting out, especially with this episode, then tell someone, hey, you need some garbage in your life? Check out these guys. They're a couple of dickheads that know nothing about what they're talking about. So it'll be fun. It'll be fun. We'll incorporate them. We'll give them a shout out. Tell them to give me an orange, and I'll say their name. With that, I think we're gonna go eat some chicken wings, or at least watch them go around in a circle. I am your host, Adam. That's your other host,
Kevin.
It's Miller time. Kevin, take it away. Kevin, take it away.
Shut the fuck up.
Perfect on the first try. Nice job.
Yeah.
Nice job. Nice job. All right, folks. Do not watch this movie. Have a good night. We'll talk to you later.